This is the voice of the patriot, and here we speak truth to power. Here we do not in any way criticize, but if we must criticize, we'll do it on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the people, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. Now we have a number of issues we want to look at today, and I go straight for the first issue. Now this one I'm reading from Ghana Web, and it says Kumasi Central Prison inmates eat rice only once a year. Regional commander reveals, and I read. Come along, let's look at this. Now, the Ashanti Regional Commander of Prison Services and officer in charge of Kumasi Central Prisons, James B. Nweyele, has painted a grim picture of the inside of the Kumasi Central Prisons, revealing that inmates are only served rice once a year. Nweyele made this disclosure during an end of year get-together program organized by the Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, in Kumasi. Now, according to him, the prisons feed prisoners with a schedule in place. And according to him, the prison's feeding schedule is limited, with breakfast served around 11 a.m. and lunch and supper combined at 1 p.m. However, Nweyele noted that protein is a significant challenge and luxuries like eggs are scarce. He attributed this to the prison's overcrowding with 1,563 inmates, which has a negative effect on every aspect of prison life. Now, the regional commander also highlighted other challenges faced by the prison, including inadequate exercise space, poor living conditions, and limited access to amenities. He revealed that amenities are locked in their cells. I beg your pardon, inmates are locked in their cells at 5:30 p.m. and the washrooms are basic with shared facilities. Nweyele appreciated the support from companies, religious organizations, and individuals, and expressed his desire for land to be allocated for farming, which will provide food for the inmates, and after rehabilitation opportunities, there can be a bright future. So we live in a country where prison is punitive and not reformatory. My brother, we are so cruel as a people, yet we are the most religious. If you speak to the average Ghanaian and he talks to you about God, talks to you about heaven, you might think that he's been to heaven 1,000,000 times already and he's coming to tell us about heaven. My brother, my sister, we are a country that has no respect for human rights. We are a country that is more cruel than Satan. It's so terrible. I have always advocated against prison. I don't believe in prison. 4 walls, people locked up in there to waste their lives away. No training of any sort is given to them actively. No education. In some countries, prisoners return with degrees and diplomas. In some countries, prisoners return with new acquired knowledge, in fact, and skills. But in our country, we go to prison with 1 disease, we return with 1,000,000 more. We send straight people into prison, they return as homosexuals. Our prison yards are noted for homosexuality. Men sodomize each other night and day. As for the women, we can't describe what they do in their cells. My brother, my sister, In Ghana, we don't have any conjugation visits. Where, my brother, my sister, we have men inviting their women to visit them in prison, and they'll be given some time off for at least some romance. It doesn't happen in Ghana. No conjugal visits. Conjugal visits are not part of our prison life. You go to prison as a straight person and you return as gay, because when your hormones start jangling and you are looking for somebody to be able to unleash your libido on, is another hard body man next to you. They return as homosexuals and gay. My brother, my sister, we feed our prisoners here as if they were not human beings. Imagine Mr. Winyele telling us that they feed the prisoners only once a year with rice. Rice, which is a common food in Ghana. The prisoners only have it once a year, maybe on Christmas. My brother, why are we doing this to our prisoners? And when they return and become more hardened, we say we don't understand. Now, what is the purpose of prison? Is it punitive or is it reformatory? It is sad how we do this. And when you go to the prison houses, my brother, my sister, the big thieves are not in there. The thieves who steal enough to deprive several millions of people, they are much needed basics and necessities, are walking free, whilst those who smoked one roll of ganja, those who stole banana, plantain, a fowl, my brother, or even a candy, they are those who are rotting up in jail, some of them without even trial. It is sad how our prison system is being run. I have said it time and again. If I were the president of Ghana, all the prison houses will be turned into hotels, at least one-star hotels. Anybody who goes into prison is going to a hotel, but they will end up on the Kwame Nkrumah farm. The other day I had a conversation with the president, John Dramani Mahama, and I asked him about the Kwame Nkrumah state farms, and he explained a few things to me. My brother, my sister, soon all those farms have to be brought back to life so that prisoners can work on them, feed themselves and feed the nation. Mr. Winyele has made it clear that they are looking for land where the prisoners can work and at least feed themselves. How do you call people human beings when you give them rice once a year? What do they eat for the rest of the year? They don't eat supper. They eat breakfast at 11 a.m. At 1 p.m., 3 hours later, they are ready for lunch and supper combined. For the rest of the day, they can drink air. Fire burn, you dirty people. How do you treat human beings like this? Fellow citizens, no wonder they are all running outside the country. Now the next thing I want to look at is also taken from Ghana Web. And it says, Oforiatta breaks silence on OSP's probe of him. And I read, come along. Former Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, has spoken out about the Office of the Special Prosecutor's criminal probe into him, expressing his displeasure with recent developments. Now, in an open letter dated February 26, Mr. Oforiatta sought to correct the record, describing the situation as both perplexing and upsetting. His response follows a wanted notice issued against him by the OSP, which was later withdrawn. According to the OSP, the investigation focused on several financial transactions, including the strategic mobilization GRA contract, the termination of the ECG BXC contract, payments for the National Cathedral, ambulance purchases, and the use of the tax refund account. Subsequently, the OSP confirmed that Mr. Oforiatta had officially communicated his intention to return voluntarily. As a result, he was removed from the wanted list, though the office cautioned that failure to return as promised will result in further legal action. Reflecting on the situation, Mr. Oforiatta expressed his confusion about the unfolding events. I have been in the news recently in quite a dramatic manner. I thought it important to share with you the facts surrounding the recent events and news articles concerning me and Ghana's special prosecutor. I am as puzzled and dismayed as I suspect you must be. I was out of the country on January 24 for medical reasons when the special prosecutor invited me to an in-person meeting on February 10, 2025 in connection with 4 corruption and corruption-related cases. I was neither the originating nor the implementing minister in any of these portfolios. I immediately responded through my lawyers, indicating my willingness to have them provide any information required for the investigation, given that I would be out of the country for the next few months for medical reasons. A report by City Newsroom quotes Oforiatta as saying, he added, now the special prosecutor rejected the offer to meet with my lawyers, insisting on a firm date for my personal attendance. Instead, on February 11, my home was invaded and raided by armed national security operatives. The special prosecutor remarked that I had staged this raid on my own home and subsequently launched an international campaign declaring that I was a wanted fugitive from justice. Now, according to the finance minister, former finance minister of this country, one of the worst that we have had in this country, these are the facts. The OSP wrote asking for an in-meeting with the finance minister. He wrote back that he was not going to be available because he was out of the country on medical reasons. OSP went ahead to say, no, I'm not meeting with your lawyers. I want a firm date that this man can return. They were unable to give him that. And for that matter, the office of the special prosecutor decided to come out and say, listen, man, now that I'm not able to have you, you are on the wanted list. We need you in Ghana. And by any means necessary, we shall hack you down and bring you to face justice. A few days later, Oforiatta wrote back through his lawyers to the office of the special prosecutor, giving them a firm date that he will return on this day. I don't see any wrongdoing in this. If the first instance you were unable to tell the special prosecutor that on this day you'll be available for investigations until there was pressure on you, after issuing the wanted whatever, you decide that it is time for you to return. My brother, my sister, there is no wrongdoing in this. Now for the raid of the house. In fact, these security operatives have their own way of dealing with some of these things. They had a warrant. They went in there. They did whatever they were supposed to do. But my brother, my sister, even videos came out thanks to CCTV cameras and some other such things. So they cannot deny. A few people were, in fact, fingered in that video. At the end of the day, the office of the special prosecutor said that the finance minister organized his own raid. It was a charade in order to deceive the public and gain public sympathy, only for the security operatives to come out finally and say, yes, they actually went there to do it. There was no staging of any raid. In fact, if our investigative body, aka the office of the special prosecutor, that is supposed to investigate and prosecute wrongdoing in terms of corruption in this country can come out point blank and say that the whole thing was staged without going into it, then I wonder what kind of OSP we have. It's a very careless office of the special prosecutor, very randy and very, very irresponsible. Office of the special prosecutor. You know what it means to say special prosecutor? In the offing, you made it clear that the man was on the wanted list for failure to appear before your office for questioning. Now, right after that, the man comes out to say, okay, you know what? I am available. On this date, I'll be around. You came back and withdrew it. There is no problem with that. It's okay. But to come out and say that Oforiatta staged his own house's raid, a few moments later, the security operatives come out to say, listen, we were involved and we apologize. In fact, the apology was made in parliament through the majority leader. My brother, my sister, what becomes of the office of the special prosecutor? You are very careless, extremely careless. Why couldn't the special prosecutor liaise with the security operatives to know exactly the truth of the matter? Only for you to come out and issue a foolhardy statement right after that. You are exposed. How many people are going to believe you now? How many people are going to trust you? Or is it youthful exuberance? I am so disappointed, extremely disappointed. Please, if you are not ready for the work, resign, just like Martin Hamidu shamelessly did. The whole Ghana had the trust in him to be able to deliver. At the end of the day, what did he do? He couldn't deliver. Shamelessly, he ran out of office. You can do the same and join your predecessor. I am so ashamed of the office of the special prosecutors handling of this Oforiatta issue. I don't like Oforiatta. I'm not a fan of Oforiatta. I want to see him suffer for all the ills, all the venom he has unleashed on people in this country. He presided over an economy that was a mockery. He gave people unprofessional haircuts. In the name of the Bible, he convinced people to see him as the next pope. At the end of the day, look at how he treated pensioners. He gave them unprofessional, filthy haircuts. A lot have died so far. If Namwan is a criminal, then Oforiatta is a worse criminal. If Namwan is a pickpocket, Oforiatta is an armed robber. What Namwan did, and the whole country rose against him with the support of the finance minister. Oh, he was taking money from people. Oh, he wasn't supposed to take money, even though he was paying back the dividends and all that. They ran down Namwan's business and made him look like a criminal, a hardened criminal. They locked him up in prisons, left, right, and center. Today, they are doing the same things Namwan did. Today, they took people's money and even refused to pay them, telling them they will pay them in 25 years' time, 15 years. What criminals? What very, very, very serious criminals? If it was Namwan who had said, oh, I don't have the money now, I'll pay you in 5 years, I'm sure they would have locked him up and probably sent him to the firing squad. But these criminals are there saying they will pay in 25 years and everybody's quiet. And now he's trying to seek sympathy from the people of Ghana. Please, Office of the Special Prosecutor, hurry up with things. You are delaying. You are too slow. If corruption must be fought, we must do it quickly. Or was it a way of gaining some kind of respect in the eyes of the newly installed president? Quickly. Oforiatta is on the wanted list so that it will seem that you are working. Now everywhere is quiet. Cecilia the past case, quiet. this special prosecutor is gradually becoming a special pretender. Now, the last issue I want to look at is an issue of patriotism, and I need you to come along. It says, wearing cloth to work, no salad eating. How Nkrumah instilled black spirit in Ghanaians. And I read from Ghana Web. A 98-year-old Ghanaian woman, Mary Suma Otu, has narrated how Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, ensured that Ghanaians embraced their identity and culture. According to her, Ghanaians stopped wearing trousers and the corporate look to work, and instead flanked cloths to represent the culture under Kwame Nkrumah. Narrating this to journalists, Kafu Ide, narrating this to journalist Kafu Ide, the 98-year-old woman said Nkrumah's installation of values in Ghanaians also led to the eating of local food instead of things like salad, which had become rampant in contemporary times. It's not bad to eat salad. After all, we grow our own cabbage here. But what the woman is trying to say is very simple. Salad is associated with foreigners. The average Ghanaian hardly eats salad. It's not one of our delicacies, much as it is healthy. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, people stopped eating salad. They went in for the banku, the kokonte, the fufu, the tuozafi, and all the Ghanaian foods. People stopped wearing trousers, suits, coat and tie to work. They started wearing ntoma, an African-made attire, in the days of Kwame Nkrumah. Things have changed now. You know why? Because Nkrumah led by example. Nkrumah made sure that he himself looked very African, spoke African, ate African, walked African, slept African. Today, my brother, my sister, when you have a foreign accent, everybody bows before you. True or false? Today, when you have a foreign accent, everybody sees you to be so intellectual and smart. No wonder a lot of Ghanaians are beginning to speak like Europeans right now and Americans. My brother, no nation would ever develop without its foundation being patriotism. Hey, you can build all the street lights, all the roads. You can build all the everything that you need in this country. Without patriotism, you are a joker. My brother, my sister, let's think deeply about this. Let us be patriotic. Today, everybody is dressed European. Everybody likes some kind of designer from abroad. Our textile industry is dying. The food that we eat, when you eat it, people tease you. You're going to eat banku, you have to hide and go and eat it. But when you are going to eat pizza, you tell everybody around that you want to eat pizza. You want to order it so that everybody will see that you have ordered pizza. Yet, how many people are free to order for kokonte? How many people are free to order for gobe? My brother, the inferiority complex has demeaned our independence. And to make it even worse, my brother, my sister, this inferiority complex of wanting to be and look like others rather than us, in fact, is a demeanor. It demeans our independence and it demeans our identity as a people. I leave it here.